Hello, everybody, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D campaign number 2 of Black Ink and Blue Blood. Sorry for the Jesus. Sorry for the late start. I'm glad I'm still tongue-tied like I was last night. Sorry for the late start, but we are here now. Welcome back to Black Ink and Blue Blood. When we last left off, the party made their way across the Autumnfall territories and managed, after some bay boat shenanigans, managed to reach the trading coastal area of Shellbeat, the Autumnfall trade town. After a strange interaction with a magic-dealing card salesman, Lucian acquired a few spells they were on the lookout for, and the party settled in, explored the town a bit, found a few interesting things, sold by a few interesting characters, before meeting back up at the tavern. With some prodding from Caro and Tuco, Lucian was finally motivated to be direct and open about their feelings with Queen Sundragon, who has agreed to take Lucian for a night on the town while the militia is restocking on supplies. And then the party will be making their way to the distant city of Shniko, where, from what you have been told, you will spend a night there and then part ways from the good Queen Sundragon, at least for the time being, as she will be joining Queen Autumnfall on the warfront, and you guys will be cutting south through the Sprintwood to return to the brothers' home in Tebadra, where rumor has it a new princess has been crowned and the family is out for the boy's blood. And given their affiliations, possibly literally. As those of you left behind in the bar mill about your personal business, what would those of you in the tavern like to do? I'll be right back, so go ahead and roleplay amongst yourselves.
Honestly, it was probably just gonna get food and drink.
Yes.
You approach.
Do you need something, Zephyr? Well, there isn't much that can be done until we get there. Well, I would prefer to deal with it without having to go to that. That would be. Yes, I'd hope to avoid that. I have several ideas, but I'm not sure which one to go with until we get there. I need to see exactly what the situation is. Right now, I'm mostly just planning on how we get in. Not with how we are. They apparently have been spreading stories about us that some might try to capture us. Apparently they have some story about how we tried to kill them or something. I don't. Something about running into them before, but I don't remember who they are. I think it'd be better to avoid attention and get in a little more quietly. I think trying to walk right in will just lead to a fight and draw attention that I don't want. That's exactly why I'm trying to think of something that everyone can achieve. I think having more allies is better than having less. If they make themselves a problem, then I will have to solve it. But I will try to make it quite clear to them to not make themselves a problem.
Back. Sorry about that. What I miss?
Yeah, pretty much you're saying that elves are a problem.
Yeah, sorry about that. Apparently, my cat was allergic to that medicine we gave him, so had to sit with him to make sure he wasn't gonna do any astral traversal on my watch. But he seems like he's all right now. All right. Yeah. Yeah. No worries. Just apologies for having to step away.
I was gonna ask, would Caleb know me? I guess you would say metaphorically backdoor entrances into the city into Bedra?
Make a survival check.
Survival? Interesting. Caleb sucks at survival. 15.
Given that Rosewick was a fort when it was originally constructed, there's not a lot in the way of
I assume the thieves had to have some way to get into a fort.
Well, the thing is, they got in because when they got there, there was nobody left. A dragon attack had killed everyone in the fort, and the Tebadrians just basically went inside, locked the door behind them, and said, "This is ours now. Try and take it if you disagree." But that being said, while the Tebadrians were very cautious to not leave any back doors that may have existed beforehand, again, being savvy in the ways of these things themselves, they're smart enough to know not to leave any obvious back doors.
And also, Caleb has lived his entire life in this city. I'm sure he'd know a lot of nooks and crannies to it.
That being said, while there is no, at least that you're super familiar with, backdoor, you would know that one of the walls is a little weaker than the other, occasionally having holes and things of that nature. Just time has taken its toll on the fort. That wall was already damaged when you arrived there.
Thieves, not masons.
Yeah, so while it's not like a gaping hole that an army could march through, you suspect it's possible that the Tebadrians have left a hole big enough for individuals or a small group to slip through, but that's about all you can think of, given that the Devadrons are a family of thieves ruled by a literal king of thieves. They were smart enough to close up a lot of back channels to get into the city, since there are thieves already. If you need to use a back channel to get to them, they don't want you in there, and they know how to keep you out.
Like, the fort doesn't have any, like, drainage or anything like that?
To be blunt, if gross about it, no, because they just do their business in the woods.
Well, I mean, the Tavadrons do, but what about the people who existed here before the Tavadrons?
I guess they did too. Huh?
Yeah, like they did too. But that being said, given that there is no physical back entrances, I will say, given your decent enough survival check, you would be aware that since there's no way to just physically sneak yourself in, unless you just sneak past the guards, which is a pretty big and chancy if. And even if that hole in the wall that you're not even positive is there, you would still have to sneak under the guard's nose either way. The best way you can think of to get in with nobody being the wiser, especially if they don't want you there, is, well, Tavadrons are 2-1 viable. If you have the gold, any of them, even the most loyal, will get you where you want to go, and do it quietly. So you would suspect your best bet to be find someone in one of the outer cities and villages of Tebadra and simply pay them to get you into Rosewick quietly, as they're always scanning the walls and checking the back entrances to make sure nobody sneaks in, but they're not going to look twice at what they think to be cargo or, at worst, hostages.
But we know that at least Caleb and Zephyr would need to be completely hidden.
Or disguised.
Or, yeah, disguised. Would Caleb happen to... Is there anybody that Caleb would happen to know from the outer villages?
You, of course, have all met Q from the city of Fuse. I'll need to double check to see if he's still alive, granted, but
Gil still has a rivalry.
What?
he's saying that What's It still has a rivalry with Q. But you're uncertain, given Q's position, if that would be a easy option. Roll me a history check. I'll see if you know any good smugglers. And while you're doing that, anyone else have anything they want to resolve before we resume the scene?
Just that I'm getting free good alcohol, and he wants to look at his clearance, see if he finds a way that he recognizes that he's not eating.
Yeah, you're a little hard to understand. Mic quality isn't the best. Sorry.
Awesome.
You might need to get closer.
Are you driving?
Yeah.
I can't get any closer.
So are you driving?
No, but I'm literally at my phone up my face. I guess I'll have to type it.
Yeah, go ahead and do that. Caleb, history?
I got an 18.
You do recall that while they don't operate outside of Rosewick a crazy amount, you do recall that your cousins, the Bladovich sisters, along with your uncle, do run a series of clubs that have expanded their brand, last you heard, into some of the outer cities. You're not sure if your uncle and cousins would be in one of them, but if you get to Fuse or one of the outlying villages that has one of your uncle's clubs, and if you wait long enough, odds are he'll swing by to make the rounds at some point, and it'll be easier to sneak into a village or small town of Tebedra than it is into the capital, at which point, you know, your family, and more importantly, you have pockets, you're decently confident that you can convince him to return you to Rosewick, but I'll leave it up to your judgment if you can then trust him to keep quiet about your presence.
I guess, like, I don't know if Caleb would. I don't know if we've gone how much details you have covered with them that I didn't mention. But, like, was there ever any incidences that would indicate he might not, one of them might not be trustworthy?
Basically, like, the answer is still the same as what I had given you initially, that you trust them about as much as you think any Tebedran can be trustworthy, but you know, at the end of the day, you are still banking on faith and the goodwill of a Tebedran.
Hopefully they value family. Because Caleb can't think of any other good ways in.
Alright.
At least ways that don't involve getting into a fight that draws lots of attention. Because to be quite honest, he doesn't fully... he knows that he and Zephyr could easily get in. But he knows that the others don't quite have their skills in stealth. Or, on top of that, their special equipment in stealth.
Mm-hmm. Alright.
I guess which city would be the most important, so most likely for them to have shown up there?
Outside of the capital, easily the most populated and relevant city would be Fuse, that the camouflaged forest city. While it's camouflaged to an outsider, someone like you who knows Tebadrans and speaks Thieves' Cant can learn to navigate the forest as if it were a city, and you know that the Tebadrans have a few on-the-sly buildings and hovels that people have set up small little stores and stows in.
Very well. Then Caleb has his plan.
All right. You order some good food, some alcohol, and Zephyr, you notice kind of rifling through his candy bag and examining them curiously. While you're not, while I imagine you're not worried by any means, I will say just through objective observation, the thought does occur to you that What's-His may be getting a little obsessed with the candy bag.
Are they addictive?
It's possible.
I'm sure one of the candies gives you a point in addiction.
They're addicted to the sense of the fact that you get like random cool effects, but that doesn't. That's just addictive. You have to have one.
Just imagine What's-His just crouched over the bag of candy, just my precious, and like chewing on a crap ton of them.
Does his body just polymorphs 50 different times?
Yep.
Polymorph summons a dragon and dies.
Yeah, imagine if Gollum just died.
Well, boy, do I have good news for you.
He didn't just die. Like, I mean, like, randomly die. There wasn't anything random about it.
Alright. You all sit and enjoy the lukewarm hospitality of the Autumnfall folk for a good few hours. But eventually, as Kero, you dine, Caleb, you plan, Zephyr, you plan, being Zephyr. And what's is you just stare contemplatively at your candies. It is a good long while before the door is kicked in again, and you see the bartender kind of visibly like, as Sundragon returns, her hair looking windswept and disheveled, and an equally disheveled and Lucian, depending on how much drinking you decided to do, potentially a bit tipsy looking.
Oh yeah, she looks absolutely just plastered.
It's always absolutes in D&D. Like, if somebody's drunk in D&D, they're always
To the max.
destroyed.
Yeah, like to the
Well,
max.
to be fair, it's because being slightly buzzed isn't interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I've had slightly buzz. I'm like, man, I randomly had this thought process. I'm like, some stupid thought popped in my head. It's just like a weird thing. I was like, what?
No, I've been there. And
The other thing
Lucian
I
is-
noticed when I got drunk was I somehow got better at video games.
Yeah, I get that.
Lucian, as you drunkenly stumble in following Agnes, she gives the group a smile and what's his kind of comments over her shoulder. Have a good time, you two?
Lucian just. Yeah.
Sorry about that chat thing.
Agnes kind of stretches her arms and cracks her knuckles, showing off her midriff a bit. And as she shakes herself off from the stretch, she gives you all a smile and, all right, I'm exactly the right kind of buzzed I want to be before dealing with the queen. You guys ready to go?
I guess so. I mean, where are we going again?
The plan is we're going to head to Sneeko, and you guys can... And she seems like she's drunk a bit herself and is kind of having a hard time focusing, but she kind of steadies herself, and you guys can go if you feel like it after that. Right. Lulu and I were talking. I'm gonna get you guys train tickets because it's a long way to walk.
It's so far.
But we don't walk, we have a cart.
Yeah, but like the train is faster than a cart, Caleb. I don't know if you knew that.
Don't be mean to him. And
I'm
she just kind of
I'm
taps you
not.
on the head.
She just kind of swats her.
Thanks,
I'm not
Paige.
being mean.
My experience with trains is robbing them.
The last time I was on a train, I met those two, and she like points at Zephyr and what's his.
And you've been unhappy ever since.
No, that's not true. She was unhappy
You know-
way before that.
That's fair. Absolutely.
You were made
I don't even
more
know.
unhappy by that.
There you go. Well, you don't have to ride the train if you don't wanna. But you
I'm
guys
gonna
can...
ride the train.
She kind of rubs at her eyes, and you guys can stay the night at Sneeko if you want. But just in case you're gone by the time I get up tomorrow, it was good hanging out with you guys, and thanks for the save back in Capacitus.
Your ass was worth saving.
She kind of sticks her tongue out and does a little pose before waving over her shoulder, and
Caleb,
all right.
Caleb was like, oh, and I'm sure you've gotten very acquainted with it.
Not as much as I'd like to.
Seeming to disregard the conversation, Sundragon kind of calls over her shoulder. All right, see you around, Kingdom of Nerds. I'm gonna go
Where
bother
the
your
fuck did
queen.
you- Okay.
Did
I
you get
I
looks?
think-
Yes, she's been getting looked since she came in.
This is
you know what sounds great is fucking in a room with Night Honey.
What's that?
You know, the honey that we had before.
She kind of squints at you and thinks.
Gets us really, really, really high.
Listen, she's too drunk to understand what you're saying. You might want to just, point them
Yeah,
out.
if I'm gonna be getting into politics, I can't go in crossfaded. I need to at least. I need to understand roughly every other word she says. She talks enough to where that'll half of every word will still form a sentence.
Is everybody in the room?
Yeah, you guys are all just in a bar.
Okay, hold on to that thought, if you can. And then I'm gonna look to the others.
What thought?
I just had a thought in my brain.
Thoughts happen. Yes, I'm sure you know that from anatomy.
So, you guys, you Tabaser and Boyds, this whole thing, like, do I have to be there? Do you need me for anything? Okay, Caleb, does Caleb need me for anything? I know Zephyr doesn't give two shits, but...
Well, you're good at healing magic, and if worse comes to worse, we could have to deal with someone who knows a lot about poisons.
She kind of scrunches her nose, but like, do you absolutely need me? I was thinking maybe I could go with Aggie, and then like, last time we were in Tabedra, we got betrayed, and I really just
if it's
didn't...
any consolation to you, current indications seem to be that we might be overthrowing the king.
Well, it's by the sounds of it, queen right now, still king.
He's still technically king, but he's probably not going to be king for very long. He is dying.
Yeah, but like, didn't you have like a whole plan anyways, and like, does that include me? Do you like absolutely need me?
Really stretching like,
Lucian, you have plenty of time with your girlfriend, like.
Caleb is like, Lucian, I never would have taken you to be one to be so smitten that you would put that over potentially dealing a major blow to the people who are endangering our entire continent. And try to attack your girlfriend's kingdom.
I mean, in fairness to her, we technically don't even know if that is feeling.
Somebody exposed before.
Wait. Am I high as balls, or did Zephyr just stick up for me?
Oh.
That's how you know what you're saying. That's how you know what you're planning on doing is not a good thing to do, because Zephyr is supporting it.
I'm more or less just stating the facts.
I'm so confused.
Just stating the fact that unless there's some information I haven't been told.
Zephyr, just because you know something doesn't mean you need to open your mouth and say it.
Well, as I was saying, we have yet to be any proof of this, the Concord. Dumb name this, but
well, I mean, Lucifer told me that your dad was in it, and I mean, we saw the whole thing go down, and we saw like them take them somewhere.
Yes, and
like that was the last time we saw them, right? Nothing. Was that room?
And Tabedra has been doing nothing towards the alliance that it's supposedly a part of. So, in the end, this is going to benefit the alliance. In the end, I think.
Well, I mean, think about it. I've told this several times. Lucy had said that all of the Concord members had like their own thing, the reason they're there, and like they all have like their separate agendas. So, I mean, even though, like, he's a part of the Concord, doesn't mean, like, he didn't have his own agenda.
Either way, it would
But
be better for the Alliance to have one more people on their side than
you
to
said
not.
he's sick?
Sounds of what I'm understanding, we're planning on either getting one of the other people of whoever to become the new ruler, or they're convinced, or we're gonna have to convince them to join the or be more active in the Concord or something.
The Alliance.
Or yeah, the Alliance.
Yeah, the Alliance. We don't want them in the Concord stuff.
That's it. I mean, frankly,
No.
not really worried about the aspect of the Beja being Concord. I don't think it does all that much.
But the point is
That's
that
what they want you to think.
About this
But the
much.
Sorry. But the point is, it will be beneficial to have Debater pick a side for once.
I
So-
completely agree. And
so we
it
need
sounded like
everybody
you.
And so we need everybody on hand to achieve this goal. I could see moments that could involve everybody in this group.
Okay, can you rewind? Can you rewind for a second? You said your dad was sick.
Yeah, that's what I heard from somebody I got information from.
It's always been.
Have you
sick.
considered? Have you considered that maybe he's turning into an Icar beast too?
Either way, he needs to go.
Yeah, but like, if he's turning into an Icar beast, that could be like really bad.
I mean,
Well, then shouldn't you be there to deal with it?
She like, she sighs. Yeah, probably.
Read later. No offense.
I can barely understand you, sweetheart.
I get every other.
Mm-hmm. It's not even like lag, it's just like the mic quality is so bad that
Yeah,
it's not like coherent.
It sounds like you're farther away. Like you have it down. Honestly, I thought you were driving.
Amanda's Daft Punk and Jeremy has evolved into Tin Can. Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons. Can I take your order?
Okay. Just kind of like, oh, but alright. I will go.
Sun Dragon kind of rolls her eyes and.
Like this time you get to betray the king. In a way. By technicalities.
And
we are technically working for the same alliance, but we know in actual effect we are not.
Sun Dragon kind of playfully elbows you, Lucian, and besides, I'm not going anywhere. I fought worse than Barber is. I'm not going to let him kill me. I'm just going to make sure that nothing happens to the queen.
Sword. Did you know that he has like this sword that like turns into other swords?
Did you forget the part where I have dragon scale armor and my size spit fire?
That's a fair point. He has a sword that turns into other swords.
Yeah, I can make a sword turn into a knife.
Besides, you know how often
the
leaders of two armies actually wind up meeting in a battle? It's very rare.
We're also talking about someone who, on dragons.
So can you clarify to me, Caleb, is your plan to just, like, if this random elf lady has taken over, we kill her, right? Or if your dad needs to be killed, we'll kill him. Somebody dies. And then
I'm not guaranteeing that somebody dies. If I have plans that could force them to leave on their own accord, but they're long shots. It may have to
So,
come to that in the end, but if all goes according to plan, then we won't have to.
so does your plan include like getting to Bedra to like march into war with Aggie?
No, we're thieves. We're not really frontline fighters, but we can certainly make it very hard to move, things like food and money to pay your troops and things
Actually
like
cut off
that.
their supplies.
Sundragon, who had been smiling at Zephyr at his assertion that she would 100% be leading her army from the front, does kind of give a thoughtful nod to Caleb. And even monsters gotta eat.
So Sabatos may not be the best frontline fighters, but we could certainly run amok behind the lines, as it were.
Okay, so are we planning to go back and help her? Because
Yes,
I
we
don't
will
know
be
about
going.
you guys, but I really want to stab Barbarous in the eyeball.
We will be returning, and we may have some assistance.
Yeah,
There
bring
are
me some
some
backup.
There are some fighters in Tabeja who can maybe help with something targeted.
Okay.
But
And then we're gonna do Karo's thing, right?
I think that might be the plan. But honestly, sometimes with our plans, things sometimes go so wrong that we have to change everything.
Yeah, we'll cross the bridge when we get to it. I just like to
That's
have
the
things
spirit, Lulu.
organized.
So the first order of business is, what was that town called, Matthew?
The town you want to go to for smuggling?
Yeah.
Fuse.
So once we break off from Sundragon, we will head to the city of Fuse.
I mean, we could go tomorrow. Like I don't know about you guys, but like I would like to like stay here for the night, cause like I'm
Well,
really drunk right now.
That's not important. That's not important right now. I'm giving you the plan.
Well, I'm saying we stay here tonight and then
It's
we
not an
leave.
argument. It's not important right now. We'll talk about that once I give you the plan.
Okay, whatever.
So the plan is we head to the city of Fuse, where I know somebody who might be able to get us into the city without us being seen. Because apparently there might be a price on our heads.
I don't know about y'all, but that's required.
Little, I just turned him up and he's fine.
Yeah, I had to turn them up too.
Yeah, basically he was just saying that he knows somebody in Fuse who can smuggle you guys into Rosewick because apparently there's a price on your heads. And what's his kind of looks to you, Caleb, in curiosity, and how much of a price?
Frankly, first time I'm hearing about this is myself.
One that you can claim.
Well, I'm curious about this price myself. This is the first time you've told me.
Was there a literal price, or is Caleb being figurative right now?
Well, you do know that there is a bounty on your heads. You were not told the price of said bounty.
I don't know how much it is, but I know it's there.
That's changed.
We could find out. I mean, not like it matters, but like
It doesn't really matter. The fact that it exists is what matters. So I know somebody who can get us in quietly, and I can figure out the exact direction that is necessary from there. And so, as I said, I will suggest that we stay the night so that Lucian can be less drunk.
great. And I'm going to take Aggie's hand and I'm going to drag her.
She is a immovable wall and just kind of looks at you.
Come on, peace out, bitches.
She kind of looks confused, but kind of shrugs and looks to you guys. Well, you guys ready to go then?
Yes, I guess, if we're going somewhere. I thought we were staying here.
No, the plan is to head to Shniko and then rest up. It's closer to the war front, and the Queen's expecting me soon. She's gonna have my entire ass if I don't get there before sunrise.
No,
But if you guys...
I was just about to say, over my dead body.
She probably would be willing to make that arrangement if you get her angry enough.
She'd
I
probably
will
be very
fight her.
capable of it.
Oh, no, yeah,
I will end her.
she's the worst, but she is a really talented spellcaster. She's been holding Barbarous off on her own for weeks now.
I will still end her.
She kind of chuckles in.
Please don't get yourself into some trouble. We kind of need you.
Only for you, Caleb. Boop. I'll boop his nose.
And Sun Dragon just kind of hauls you over her shoulder like a sack of potatoes and all right, let's put you in your friend's carriage and let's get the men moving.
This is a really
Forward.
great view.
And
Is that from looking down or up?
Take it as however you would like to interpret it.
Probably looking down on people.
And you just kind of bemoan Lucian saying this in front of a crowd of Autumnfall folk. But thankfully, while you do notice a fair few amount of whispers that appear to be taking it seriously, most appear to just be going out of their way to ignore her, treating her as almost like just the town drunk.
As of this moment, she is the town drunk, effectively.
Yeah. Sun Dragon holds the alcohol a fair bit better.
Because, let's be honest, these people are too uptight to let themselves get drunk.
Fair. Does anyone have any final business in Shellbeat before you guys start making your way to Shniko? Okay. At this point, you guys know the routine well enough. I have one candy. You know the drill. Roll a d100. At this point, you guys have settled into
drop dead immediately.
Well, yeah, let's see what happens.
Or get banished to the astral plane.
You guys have gotten fairly used to the routine at this point. Zephyr on the roof, Caleb in the carriage, Watts is and Caro, or well, rather, Watts is up front, Caro in the cargo with the aminals. And Lucian, who would ordinarily be riding Kiki's delivery service style alongside, is slumped in the carriage across from you, Caleb. Lucian, your judgment on whether you're just sleeping off the alcohol or just resting.
Oh no, she is wide awake. She's just like jabbering on about whatever random facts pop into her head.
Hold on, if I have some.
Did you guys know that if you scare a penguin, it will throw up on you?
Excuse... What the hell kind of ADHD fact was that?
What's the result of your D100 roll?
Oh no, that's just a real fact that I happen to know.
7.
Alright. As you drive Peanut and Butters along, good horse names, I gotta give you guys credit, good horse names. You take... Oh, I get to roll a dice for this one. You bite into a string of black licorice and promptly take...
Ew.
Is this the... Yeah, this is correct. And promptly take 4 necrotic damage.
As one should when they're eating black licorice.
Valid.
I saw some, or actually, we had some at mine.
I mean, no judgment if you're a fan, just, it's nauseating.
I've never tried it, so...
I'm not gonna lie, I totally will judge.
Never tried it, so I can't say.
As you're kind of chewing on the unpleasant texture and taste of this licorice, you turn your attention ahead. looking ahead, you see this almost plume of smoke rising in the distance. This kind of dark, not pitch black, but this just kind of dark brownish black against the setting sun of Yav. On the horizon of the Ishin Valley, about where the Sprintwood and Shnika meet. You initially start to worry, and you can hear a few mutters from the militiamen as they start to get concerned about it as well. But as you make your way closer, what's his? Make me a perception check. The rest of you notice that you do not see any signs of battle. You don't see any camped out soldiers or anything that would indicate a fight is going on or any kind of internal strife. But you do notice that Caleb, the otherwise relatively serene Yavik Knights are broken up, not by the sounds of battle that you were worried about, but rather the sounds of industry. You can hear, even from here, the sound of churning factories, and Zephyr, your nose kind of crinkles as this acrid, kind of unpleasant smell hits you. And Caro, you notice your animals start to kind of get a little like skeeved, as the smoke in and of itself didn't alarm them, but the smell of industry does.
Oh yeah.
And what's
Lucian
is with your
is
perception check,
plugging
you
her
notice
nose.
that
Kill.
and what is you notice that the Tieshin Express is currently running through Shniko. You can see a set of train tracks coming from Shellbeat into Shniko, and then running down down the Tieshin Valley, which was the route you three took when you first met in Purha. You know that train, or at the very least its tracks, lead directly to the Tebadran's territory. And yeah, Lucian, as you complain, is just kind of offhandedly comments, "It's just the train, you guys." And the militiamen appear to ease up a little bit, although they still look a little uncertain, given that they don't have this kind of industry in Sundragon, so it's a little unfamiliar for them. As you guys make your way closer, there's this kind of ambient heat coming from Shniko, and you can see that, or less see, more that you can hear, the ever-present sounds of hammering forges, the heat of fires, the churning of the train on the tracks. Not quite as industrial as Edict, but something in that sort of zip code. Definitely a more industrious land than most of those you see on the surface.
I think this is this doesn't say it affects smells.
Urge to kill. I didn't realize I was unmuted. I was just remembering that line and I didn't realize that's unmuted. Urge to kill rising.
I just thought it was like fucking Caleb, and it's just like, you know,
Just
poor little
apparently Caleb is a passionate fucking a passionate environmentalist.
Or doesn't like the
He's
I mean,
turning into a
hey,
real
he grew.
murderer
I mean,
over
hey, you said that they did a lot of stuff in the forest.
Very true.
a lot of stuff in the forest.
Okay, guys. So are we?
I didn't realize I was.
Mhm.
Nah, you're fine.
I heard none of that. I heard, hey guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Goodbye.
Asked if we're staying the night here. No.
You're back for now.
Are we staying the night here?
That's the plan. You don't have to.
Okay. Oh no.
You could just stay in the carriage and just
I want to.
keep going.
Back?
Why the fuck? Why would I do that?
Mm. And technically, but don't we have a thing that can help with that?
What?
Don't we have a thing that can help with that? Very simple what I said there.
Okay,
I think he's talking about
I'm
your
not.
magical bubble.
Oh, my bubble. Why didn't you just fucking say the bubble?
Well, I thought you'd be smart enough to understand that.
The thing is, here's the thing.
He's
Here's
drunk.
the thing. My brain is still catching up to itself.
So at this moment, the barbarian is smarter than the turret.
Gil, you will never mind. I'm not going there. I'm going to be nice.
You can see that the city of Shniko is nestled on this mesa of the Tieshan Mountains that overlooks the valley that is their namesake. And there is no obvious way forward into Barbarous, something that you imagine that Shniko is taking advantage of. They're on the war front, but their mountainous position is easily defendable, and I'll say most of you would probably be aware of this just through some form or another. What's is, especially given that this is of military importance. There is only one way in and out of Barbarous if you don't go by sea. If you're going to go by land, there is only one pass through the Tieshan Mountains that is safe to take. And while sure, Autumnfall may not have the military might, at least on her own, to just make a straight-up march on the capital of Toradana, the Barbarous people do not have the resources, clearly, given that Shniko still stands, to take out one of the best defended cities being protected by one of the most gifted mages in Yav. You can see Shniko built on this mesa overlooking the valley, and below it, from a bubbling river that trails down the mountain, you can see swaths of the Sprintwood, the forest that your Zephyr and Caleb, your family, calls home. But the people of Shniko have begun to essentially just level it for lumber and resources. As you can gather, this town is an industrious one. As you make your way closer, not even at the internal of the city itself, but as you follow along this sort of pathway, kind of following alongside the railroad tracks, the tracks start going up into the mountain, presumably to make a stop at the station. But as you guys pass through the road by foot, you pass underneath a kind of metallic archway, and rivets are carved into the sign that reads Schnee & Co. you imagine that it was presumably the Schnee company that purchased this city or its business, and its name, Schneeko, simply came as a linguistic drift of its original purpose. Schneeko is a city of Autumnfall, yes, but it is first and foremost a factory. As you guys make your way through the swaths of lumber yards, the smell of sawdust and smoke filling your nostrils, the militiamen...
Yeah, we're definitely using the bubble tonight. Ugh.
You see that rising up the mountain is a rising set of switchback stairs that allow one entry into the inner city.
Well, I guess we gotta leave the car down here.
Okay.
Can you walk, Lucian, or do you need to get carried?
Don't touch me.
I think you said I was gonna carry you. Girlfriend still.
If I wanted to be carried, I can go over there where Agnes is.
As you guys bring the carriage, what's it from the sounds of it, you're bringing the carriage to a stop?
Rip Gil.
I'll assume so. Caleb, peeking your head out of the carriage, you can see that there are these mobile siege towers with catapults and trebuchets placed in the kind of open spaces between the towers of the city. The city itself, unlike Shellbeat, which was super bright and colorful, this one is kind of dull looking. The colors are all brown and gray and the dark graphite colors of metal. And Zephyr, as you slide off of the
colors
carriage...
of shit in a toilet.
Yeah. And Zephyr, as you slide off the carriage, you notice that you actually leave tracks in the ground because there's just this faint layer of soot constantly coating the ground.
Why would anyone want to live like this?
I can't imagine.
As you guys are grumbling amongst yourselves, you can see even Edict was cleaner. And you can see Agnes making her way towards you guys, seeming a little more sober. Perhaps the soot and dust acting as natural smelling salts. And she gives you all a smile. Whether she's noticed your discomforted reaction and thinks it's funny, or just genuinely hasn't noticed, it's kind of either or with her. But she gives you all a smile, and well, seeing as I think you guys are already familiar with these people's hospitality, I'll do it myself. Welcome to Schneeko.
Yeah, this place sucks.
It takes some getting used to.
Yeah, it really does.
And you can't tell me that all this soot in the air isn't bad for something in the world.
Yeah, not exactly good for you, but and she looks around. These people aren't here to live good lives, just long ones. Or, no, sorry, still a little drunk. Switch those around, bud.
I'm confused now.
Point is, these people aren't...
and you reverse it.
These people aren't here to live a long life.
So I think I took Sundragon's advice, and so I only heard like half of what they said.
She kind of snorts visibly at that, and well, if in that case you can ignore the history lesson, and she kind of gives a shrug. From what I know, this place was built by some company or another, dealt in magic crystals, and they bought the land to start mining more out of the mountains. And, well, after a while, so many people moved in to start working for them that it just became a city in and of itself. Apparently, Queen Autumnfall has some connections to the family, so they're considered under her jurisdiction.
I
They
I
made
know
this
I'm
place their
drunk as
capital.
fuck, but like, do I fucking like know the history of like the politics of that?
Make a history check. And Caleb, what did you say again? Sorry.
Ooh,
They decided to take that company town that smells like shit and make it their capital. How wonderful.
Oh, well, lucky for everyone, this isn't the capital. The capital's down to the southwest.
Not that with the queen being here.
Well, the Queen's here to support her people on the war front. Doesn't look good to be ruling from the back, as it were. The real capital's down to the south, and you can see her like doing that thing with her fingers, like she's trying to figure out which way is west. West.
oh,
City of
can I point? Is she pointing the right way?
Yes.
Okay. Be
Is
like,
that keen, is that keen mind again?
Yes.
yes.
Yes, that is
Fuck.
keen.
There it is.
You
We
know
should
where it's direct
take
keen,
it
but-
seriously. We should take a shot every time they mention or allude to keen mind.
I love this feat. Fight me, boy.
I was like, depending on the session, die.
We'd all be dead. Don't try that at home, kids.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be drinking alcohol in the first place, kids, but don't try that at home.
As Lucian racks her brain to remember as much as she can, you pull an orange and blue candy free from your bag, pop it into the air, and catch it. And it kind of has like a salty.
That is a
natural 20.
Oh, go ahead. No, 24 though.
Okay. You now you now have the ability to breathe underwater and a swimming speed equal to your walking speed for the next hour. And
Lucian
Lucian
just expects nat 20s
Wait.
from them.
Wait, what?
he rolled an 85, didn't he?
I
Or no,
didn't
83.
believe-
Sorry.
Uh,
Sorry about that. I misread that. As you pull free a poppy-shaped gummy, swallowing it, it's a little chewy, almost like a marshmallow. And yes, you have taken the Hypnos candy. You can now cast Sleep once in the next hour. Sorry about that. I misread it as an 85 for some reason.
I mean, if you think about it, a 3 and a 5 are pretty similar.
No, yeah, Like, I mean, it was a minor difference. It's not like I misread it as like, oh, this one instantly kills you. It's two relatively equally useless effects. So, yeah, my mistake. Ignore the orange and blue.
Yeah, it's like
that was my
it's
mistake.
not mistaking
Misread
a
it.
7 for a 1.
Yeah,
so this is going to.
yeah, misread as an 85. My bad. And Lucian, hey, cast on Lucian. That'd be hilarious.
But you can't.
Yeah, that was going to be the joke, Austin. You just ruined it.
This can affect me. Actually, it won't. It'll actually probably affect Caleb before me. Yeah.
I don't think it'll affect any of you. I think all of you have too much health.
I guess it depends on
Really?
what level. Yeah, I guess it.
Yeah,
depends
I
on
know.
what-
Sleep at this level, sleep unless you upcast it isn't really that useful.
Yeah, this upcast it only does like a small amount.
But yes, Lucian, you are actually able to recall partially because your father actually spoke of Schneeko once in a while, or rather, the Schneeko, before the city became what it is.
Yeah,
You
not
recall
that.
that your father actually frequently dealt with them and was actually considered a primary stockholder in the company. Because your family were scholars, magical scholars in Wicket, they had a vested interest in the trade of magical crystals, which, of course, would be very useful for research of various kinds. So your father thought the world of the Schnee Company.
I just kind of smile at that and just be like, oh man, my dad would love it that I'm here.
Agnes kind of tilts her head, and knowing what I know about the man, I'm not going to tell these people that's not a compliment. And yeah, Watson kind of gives a nod. All the more reason to destroy it. And Agnes kind of punches you in the shoulder, and not so fast there, big guy. Like it or not, this place is producing all the weapons of war, and I'm planning to buy quite a few of them myself. Unless you fancy being able to take on Barbarous by yourself, these guys are the ones making all the swords.
Wait. They actually sell crystals still?
Yeah, I don't think they've gone out of business. At least not since Autumnfall took over. As far as I know, the business is doing better than ever.
Oh man, my alchemy could use that.
Yeah, go nuts. Now that we're here, and she opens up her arms, you guys are free as birds. And she puts her hands in the pockets of her jacket and kind of shuffles a little awkwardly. And Lucian, as What's-His, leans over to tease you about you possibly not having the funds to buy what you want. Sun Dragon gives you all a smile and holds out her hand to you guys. Thanks for everything, guys. With any luck, we'll see each other soon. Don't let me have all the fun. And she gives you all a wink.
I'm just gonna kind of bat her hand away and just throw her arms around her neck.
Sun Dragon kind of chuckles and runs a hand through your hair before patting you on the back and releasing you. And What's-His gives a nod. Wouldn't dream of it. Save the bastard for us when we get back. And Sun Dragon gives you a wink, What's-His, and again kind of playfully punches you on the shoulder before putting an arm around you. What was that you just said? Wouldn't dream of it? Well, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I'm definitely going to be dreaming of it. So I recommend you guys hurry up with your, and she casts a very brief glance Caleb's way before looking back to you. Your personal business. And stepping away from the elves, she approaches the Tebadrons, and she gives you a nod, Zephyr, and my offer still stands. You're well, not exactly a good man, but we're on the same side, and I can pay you, and I have a few favors I could use for you once you get back. I know you're not really interested in any of this throne nonsense, so.
You're not wrong, but seems like that's where we're leading off to.
Well, good luck. Look after your brother. And if you make it back alive, want to go out for drinks sometime?
I'm not sure about drinks. I mean, if I'm free, then yes. If I'm free, then I don't mind. I don't mind going out.
No pressure, man. And she kind of reaches a hand towards you, but then seems to think better of it and just holds out her fist to fist bump you.
Power bump.
I'm just kidding.
She actually smiles very brightly, seeming that she genuinely wasn't expecting you to return it. And stay safe out there, man. And she turns to you, Caleb, and
my phone turned off. I want to say something to Agnes.
No worries. She's just saying goodbye to the Tebadrons at the moment.
Okay.
Caleb, she turns to you next and giving you a friendly smile, holds her hand out to you, and my offer still stands. Just say the word, set the forest on fire, give me whatever signal you need to, and I'll come running. Need me to crack a few skulls to get people talking. And she gives you a thumbs up.
I think if I do need your help, it'll be because of someone else getting involved.
She kind of gives you a smirk and a raised eyebrow, but do you return her offer of a handshake?
Sure.
She shakes.
Does she have a hell of a grip?
She does, but you can tell she's holding back to not break your knuckles.
break your hand.
But it's that kind of, she has that like very calloused and thick hand where you just know that if she really put her all into it, you could probably lose some fingers.
It's like she would like Knuckles from the movie.
She would. She turns to you, Caro, and sorry we haven't had the chance to talk as much as I'd like. Been kind of busy, but offer I made to Zephyr goes for you as well. You want to go out for drinks after you guys, dethrone the King of Thieves and all that. Well, palace doors are always open.
Carol nods and it sounds like a good time and gives her a big ol' hug.
She kind of smiles.
I think
and
she's got that suit on.
Yeah. You can see Sun Dragon kind of visibly wince a little bit as parts of the suit kind of uncomfortably clang into her, but she smiles and returns the gesture. And she actually does that full like pick up and swirl before putting you back on the ground. And yeah, no, she luckily holds back enough to not break your ribs, but you do have the wind knocked out of
Your
you.
spine.
Yeah.
For that matter.
But she gives you a smile and just, wow, you guys are huggers. And she pats you on the shoulder, Caro, and take care of the little beasts. I don't want to see a single one missing when you get back, understood?
Yes, they will be okay. Do not worry.
And she leans down to say a quiet goodbye to Tuco. The two of them have a quiet conversation to themselves before she stands up and stretches before turning on her heel and seeing you looking at her, Lucy. And she seems a little surprised, but puts her hands back in her pockets and nods with a gesture to allow you to speak.
I'm not quite ready to say goodbye. Do you want to go shopping together?
She kind of chuckles and sure. I'll show you around. I've been here once or twice. Think I still should know my way around well enough. What about you guys? I know there's a few decent places you can get put up for the night if you need.
I think we're actually going to use my bubble. Did you hear what I said?
No.
Yes, I was just waiting to see if anyone else had anything.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't hear it.
Oh, I just said we're going to use my bubble tonight.
I honestly,
You-
I heard it even worse.
She's saying she's gonna use her like little spell to create that little bubble thing.
Oh, I heard something completely much worse. You probably don't even. Let me mute myself on Discord or on Twitch so I can even say what I've said.
Oh no, that bad?
Oh, okay. Please do. I'm very curious. That's great. That's great.
Hey, don't you just love your D&D party? He says nothing.
He says nothing. He doesn't commit.
Nah, you guys are great. I'm just playing. You guys are great.
Yeah. But yeah, you'll totally be welcome into the bubble as well.
All right. From the sounds of it, Lucina intends to go shopping with Agnes. What do the rest of you intend to do while you're in Shnika?
What's wants to go shopping as well.
All right. So the elves are going with Agnes to do some shopping. Oh, sorry. Elves are going with
is he gonna fucking third wheel? He's gonna fucking third wheel with the with the lesbians.
Zephyr, what are you doing?
I guess Zephyr will look for a place to, go down for a night.
Yeah, bunk up. All right. Caleb.
Yeah, I guess Caleb will do the same.
Kietl.
Yeah, also lay down.
Okie dokie. In that case, you all begin making your way closer to the more upward switchbacking stairs of this strange company town and begin making your way up. As you're brought into the innards of Shniko, you can see at the top of the stairs, which the staircase is steep and unforgiving, and pretty much everyone sans what's is at least, and I'll say probably sans Zephyr, since knowing Zephyr, you probably just went straight up the wall.
Actually, I can't do that.
Alright, so in that case, yeah, pretty much everyone except what's is like, even without the soot and ash in the air, having to kind of like gasp for breath by the time you make it up to the...
At that point, are you talking about like out of exhaustion, or...
You don't like take a point of exhaustion, but yeah, just it's tiring to go up a staircase.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I was just out of, because like I have a thing that makes it where I can breathe normally.
What is it, out of curiosity?
Well, like,
just for flavor.
Since I have one of my things I have is the necklace of adaptation, which allows me to breathe normally in any environment.
Ah, okay. Thank you for pointing that out. So, as you all make your way up the factory town stairs, Caro, Caleb, and Lucian, you're all kind of, it's a lot of stairs. This is nothing compared to boot camp. You feel fine, but you're surprised to see Zephyr seems completely fine as well, until you see a small kind of pocket of ash sweep by his head, and you can see this very light, similar to Lucian, almost bubble appear.
Do I need to fucking roll to see how well Lucian can go up a fucking flight of stairs? Jeez.
You can if you want.
Yes.
I think it's
roll athletics.
Yeah, like the ash is affecting.
Okay, it's not my greatest roll. Let's see what my plus is.
Surprised that magic users have this huge flight of stairs.
I love that Lucian literally has a broom of flying, and she's still going up the stairs manually.
And also, Austin, you say that, but wizards live in towers like all the time. What is this city but a big ass tower?
So that would be a whopping 14.
Alright, Lucian, you're still having to draw in pretty heavy breath, but you do manage to make it up the stairs.
And just kind of like, what the fuck? We walk everywhere. You'd think I'd be more like, you know,
you ride in a
for
cart
this.
everywhere lately.
You know what, Caleb? You know what? You have a fucking point.
Sundragon, who is equally completely unaffected, just gives a smirk to all of you, kind of crossing her arms. And somebody skipped a leg day.
Like, man.
I skip every day.
She walks over to the side of the staircase, leans over, and Caleb, you watch as she hawks a loogie over the side of the stairs, and kind of watches it curiously as it goes down. And if the locals are to be believed, we're 1,000 feet up now. And this isn't even as high as it goes. And she points upward, and Caleb, you kind of crane your neck to see that, indeed, where you're at right now is mostly factory yards and assembly areas. The actual, like, living space of everyone is even higher up the mountain.
Can I just say, as Lucian watches Agnes like hawk a loogie over the stairs, she just kind of like, you have to teach me how to do that.
She kind of smirks a little bit, but looking to those of you who appear pretty tired, she gives a more sympathetic smile. But don't worry, they have one of those newfangled uppy downs to get you guys up to the residential district. But if you want to
Like
explore
a
the shops, this is the
dumbwaiter?
place to be. What's that?
Like a dumbwaiter?
I mean, the waiter might be dumb. I don't know. I haven't checked.
No. It's called a dumbwaiter. It's like a bucket and a rope, and you pull the rope, and the bucket like goes up.
She kind of squints a little bit, and why would that be helpful? I mean, if they want to get water up there, I guess.
No. Like it goes. It's hard to explain.
She gives a shrug, but if you guys want to explore the shops, down here's the place to do it. But if you're just looking for a place to stay, head up top. I'm sure there'll be somebody who will put you up for the night.
Just find us a really good spot, and I'll just do the bubble wherever you guys pick.
All right. At this point, unless anyone changes their minds, those of you who wish to shop can stay here. Yep. And those of you who wish to find a place to stay can head higher up the mountain. We will start with those who are shopping. Agnes leads Lucian and What's-His through the town, hands in her pockets, still seeming to kind of have that saunter, teasing demeanor that she had. But to your surprise, Lucian, these people don't seem quite as bothered by it. They definitely do still kind of take some offense to her presence, but you don't as much get the vibe of like there just being a general disposition of dislike, and more that they just aren't exactly thrilled at her being here when they're working with so much delicate machinery. And these are still Autumnfalls at heart. They still have quite a bit of pride. And Sundragon, to her credit, seems to at least be sober enough to acknowledge that. And with a more cordial tone, kind of looks over her shoulder at the two of you and so you guys interested in those fancy crystals they make here?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot I could do with crystals, with, my alchemy, and I'd like to do some experiments.
Alright, come on. I know just the place.
I'm gonna link arms with her.
She kind of smirks at you, but allows it. And as she kind of glances around, she kind of offhandedly talks about some of her recollections of being here. And as you guys are walking, What's-His pipes up in the back. I'm curious what they have that are weaponized. And Sundragon kind of peeks at you over her shoulder with a kind of vaguely interested expression. And just about everything. The Wickets are better at the whole combat magic thing, but the Autumnfalls have learned to compensate. I don't know where they got these things from. Apparently some old expedition to some islands far from here. But they figured out how to make these things and started selling them. So far, before the Autumnfalls came around anyway, the Schnee Company was the only people who knew how to make them. At least that anyone knew. You get the occasional mage who makes crystals, sure, but it was always kind of a niche business. The Schnees were the ones who figured out how to make it, and she mimes a little explosion with her hands. Once everyone can do it, well, what's the point of being a spellcaster?
That's fair. I know my dad stockpiled a lot of their stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. You'd think that the Autumnfalls would hate them for introducing magic to the common man, but well, with these prices, it's not exactly the common man's magic, so it just became a tool for royal spellcasters to do it easier. Because
calling
spells
my
can
dad
still do more than
common?
crystals. And, what'd you say, Lucian?
She just kind of like, under her breath, is like, did you just call my dad common?
She kind of smirks at you, and no, that's actually the point. The company originally intended to make it to where everyone could have this stuff. You know, magic for the common man, like I said. But once Autumnfall got her hands on it, it became the Royals game. Too expensive. Importing it from wherever in God's name they get these things is expensive enough as it is. And then you add in the, and she does air quotes, royal seal of approval to the price tag, and, well, it's only people like us that are going to be buying this crap.
Yeah. That's how it goes. And that's anything royals are good at. It's fucking everyone who's not royal.
I don't think so.
She kind of, peeks over her shoulder. Hey, Caleb. Decided to tag along?
Yeah, fuck it. I didn't have anything else to do.
Well, come along for the ride, and I guess the impromptu history lesson. She gives a bit of a shrug, and I never bothered buying from him personally. I just heard the name once or twice. It was apparently kind of a big deal on the business scene whenever Autumnfall bought them out.
Oh my god. How big of a deal was it? Like, do I remember them being bought out?
Yeah, you would recall it. It wasn't necessarily recent, but it was like recent enough for you to have been at least aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you recall that. Yeah, it was a fairly sizable occasion. Granted, only of interest to people who, take an interest in business and that sort of thing. Obviously, the typical peasant doesn't really give a shit, but yeah, basically your side, basically you experiencing it from the outside was the Schnee Company discovered these crystals, supposedly, as Sundragon said, from an expedition to some distant islands. Figured out how to make them, and were intending to sell them to everyone as a sort of like neutralizing factor, as Autumnfall has some deep-ridden problems with spellcaster prejudice, spellcaster supremacy. But sure enough, the Autumnfall swooped in, made them an offer they couldn't refuse, and next thing you know, instead of it being magic for the common man, it was just convenient magic for the rich who already had it.
I'm sure that my father was extremely pleased.
Oh yeah, like no, he was very unhappy at the idea that the commoners could learn to use magic. And once the deal went through, he was thrilled, and basically named the Elefakir family an ally of the Autumnfalls in all but name.
She just kind of shakes her head, just remembering all of this.
Eventually, Sundragon leads the three of you to a small, kind of seeming a bit out of the way shop, down an alleyway at the opposite end, blocked by curtains. Lucian, you think, honestly, you probably wouldn't have thought too much of it. Kayla, being a bit more savvy of the streets, a black market when you see one. And as she waves over her shoulder and the three of you are led down the alleyway, she peeks through the curtain and kind of gives a customers, and you can hear this kind of like grumbling sound on the other side before she smiles over her shoulder to all of you and, all right, it's open, and slinks through the curtains out of sight. As the three of you enter, you see that you find yourself in this little, like, kind of almost bazaar that's been built under what appears to be the foundations of another building. It's tall enough for you to stand in, although your head is kind of scraping the ceiling, so you have to kind of stoop your neck a wee bit to be comfortable, but you can at least stand. And as you guys all enter, you see that...
Is Aggie also kind of, like, huge?
Oh, yeah, Agnes is just straight up, like, hunching the shoulders and craning the neck. And she smiles to the shopkeeper, who you all see...
Just, like, Lucy's gonna look around and just be like, am I the only, like, normal-sized person here?
Caleb, you just walk in without any trouble. And you see Sun Dragon is smiling to the shopkeeper, who you see is a kind of elderly-looking gnomish man, graying hair, kind of weathered, tanned skin, wearing this kind of dirty, dark green work shirt with a pair of kind of dark greenish black overalls thrown over them, and in front of him and kind of scattered in rows all around the room are these glass display cases of what appear to be crystals of various colors with runes engraved on them.
Oh. I'm sure this takes me back. Hello?
The gnome just kind of babbles at you.
I'm gonna, like, look alarmedly at Agnes.
Agnes gives a smile and seeming to just translate with a grin. She, welcome to the store. We import our gems straight from the archipelago. What would you like? And kind of grumbling about the building being too small, and looking at the gnomish shopkeeper, you realize why. But you look to him. So how do these work? Are they one-type uses?
Is this what was this guy's description again?
A very old gnome.
He's a gnomish version of Boomhauer.
Yeah, I was kind of going for a Boomhauer vibe. And Agnes looks to you, and again, just kind of off the cuff translating. It's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. They're one use, but there's fountains here you can refill them at.
Interesting.
And he does like a motion with his hands of like carving at something. And he puts his hands up and shakes his head. She looks over her shoulder.
Squinting.
She looks over her shoulder to the three of you. I feel like I should warn you as a disclaimer that you can't change the spell that's contained inside unless you feel like carving the rune yourself. But at that point, no refunds. And what do they do? And does it cost to refill them? The shopkeeper gives you a wide smile and he taps against his head. And he kind of taps his chin thoughtfully. Again, Sun Dragon just effortlessly. They do whatever you can set your mind to if you have the creativity. As for the cost to refill, should be about 10 gold at the factory.
What? kind of the stuff you got? Because like I'm looking to like further my alchemy, and then I have some research that I want to try. Some crystals. What you got?
He kind of thinks to himself, and Agnes kind of glances to you, glances to him, and she looks to you, Lucian. Tell you what, Lulu. Do you have any more specifics than that? Because he can sell you just crystals with magic in them for cheap, but they're probably not going to do you a whole lot of good.
Well, I've been doing a lot of research on this Icarus stuff, and I just was wondering if, like, there was a way that I could do some research with the crystals to kind of, like, see what kind of, like, reactions I would get from the Icar, because I have vials of our blood, and I was thinking that there was some kind of, like, experiment I could conduct, because I'm trying to figure out what the fuck this shit is. So, like, I don't know if, like, there's a way to, like, figure it out. That sounds positive.
And he starts rifling behind the shelf and cracks open one of the glass display cases and picks out a few crystals and sets them in front of you and starts pointing to them.
Lucian nodding and squinting and looking at Aggie.
She points to each of the crystals he had indicated. Lightning magic, if you want to provoke a reaction. Gravity magic, if you just want to see what it does. And healing magic in case you hurt yourself.
Well, I have healing magic. I don't need that.
And he kind of grumpily takes it off the shelf.
Sorry. But I will take some of those. And is there a way to do, like, my own... You said, like, carve my own, crystal? Is that something that you can actually do?
If you got the tools and you got the eye for it. Yeah, Austin knows what's up.
She is very tempted. Like, it's very visible that the thought of this kind of experimentation interests her very much.
Like I immediately
And
goes for a decent beginner level, but then like high level match.
Yeah, like so. Yeah, we have a second level, a ninth level. Yeah, a second level, a seventh level, and a ninth level. All right, so let me actually tally up the cost for what's his wants.
So just for my own thing, so like I would probably have to buy like the tools and like buy all that shit just so I could carve the one stone.
So you need to buy the tools and possibly have like necessarily skill, because basically you having to. But yeah, you can essentially try.
You can try.
But it could fail too. Curse.
Your best
Curses.
magic there too. Yeah, like who knows what will happen if you fail.
Yeah. Like that just fucking hit Lucian's brain, and it's just like, ah, shit. I'll just have these two.
Fingers crossed.
Okay. Lucian, as you grab
as tempting as it is.
as you grab the gravity and lightning crystals, What's-His just excitedly walks forward and plops the crystals in front of the man, and he kind of raises his eyebrow at your selection and looks up to you and eventually gives a shrug. You can see him kind of write some things down, kind of crunching the numbers. And then eventually seems satisfied, kind of giving himself a nod. And it's going to run you about 550,500.
I was like, that's already. Do you?
For Gil or for me
For
or
what's
for
his?
like
for What's-His for his. Like,
Okay.
Because he's ordering a 9th level spell, a
Okay.
7th level spell, and a 2nd level spell.
Caleb is just like,
Oh yeah, Caleb's there.
did you hear the whistle?
Oh yeah, it didn't come through, but yeah. Caleb kind of gives a low whistle, and Agnes kind of grins to you, Caleb, and magic for the rich, baby.
I don't know. Some minor nobles would actually still be bankrupt by that.
Minor ones. That's exactly the kind of people they're trying to keep out.
Hey, question. Do you do discounts for stockholders? Because my family has like stocks.
He kind of raises an eyebrow to you, and he turns to look at What's-His as you kind of balk at the price, and yikes, more than I got. How about a trade for something that might interest you? And at this, you can see the gnome actually gets visibly kind of irritated and grabs at a broom that's kind of leaned up onto a nearby wall and starts just kind of jabbing it at you like, I think you can translate that one yourself.
I gotta ask Matthew, are you actually saying anything?
Oh yeah,
or-
I am actually legitimately saying something just as breathily and incoherently as possible.
Yeah, I have a feeling that there's some language there, but.
And Lucian, he turns back to you and we don't have a discount for stockbrokers, but I'd be willing to cut you a deal since these are pretty cheap anyway. And she taps at the 2 crystals you picked out.
Okay. Let's what number are you thinking?
He thinks for a long moment. You can see him look to What's-His in kind of consideration, and eventually he kind of nods to himself, seeming satisfied that he's come to a good conclusion, and turns back to you. And he points to What's-His. And Agnes kind of gives a smirk and 100 gold and slap the big guy on the back of the head.
You have yourself a deal. I will give him 100 gold, and I'm gonna go over to Gil and just pop.
The gnome just starts laughing, and as he takes the gold, he gives you a wide smile. And, pleasure doing business with you, stockholder.
I'm gonna take the crystals. I'm gonna wrap them up and put them in my backpack.
All right. Caleb, What's-His? Any final business in here?
Caleb was just seeing what was going on.
All right. What's-His?
Try for a cheaper spell. I mean, technically, probably that like 500 something level. Which one is it? Like True Polymorph, right?
Yeah, they're all in glass cases.
True Polymorph.
I'm sure seeing all of these crystals sure takes me back.
Oh, it does.
I'm just gonna kind of frown as I look at all of them. Just have war memories.
Are all the crystals locked up?
Yeah. You don't want to know why they were locked up? Specifically because of shit like this.
Is the security,
Yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, where are their most valuable valuables?
What kind of
What's
stuff
his-
does Aggie get?
Aggie doesn't actually buy anything, although she does kind of look curiously at some of the crystals.
Yeah, she's not really a magic person.
Well, I think he got him out of the case. I'm assuming it plopped him in front of you.
Yeah, and bear in mind, they're in display cases. Like, he's gonna see you if you just open up a case, start grabbing shit, and not take them to the counter.
A high enough sleight of hand.
You're not gonna win this one, sweetheart.
He can try.
Just kind of like, okay, is Gil kind of like
No, you don't.
side-eyeing?
You don't know. You don't know what he's doing.
Giving that Gil that side-eye.
Lucy, and you kind of side-eye What's-His as he kind of curiously looks over the cases before starting to make his way out. And as you guys are heading out, Agnes follows behind and calls over her shoulder, "See you later, Kiwi!"
Kiwi.
Wait, his name is Kiwi?
No, I just like to call him that because he looks like one of those little birds, don't he?
He does!
Or does he look like the fruit?
He dresses in green. Take your pick. Yeah, What's-His and Caleb both immediately jump to the fruit, and she kind of considers for a moment.
It's probably like either a fictional fruit or extremely exotic to this land.
The fruit is incredibly exotic. The bird is fictional. As you guys make your way out, you chatter happily. Lucian, toting along, you may add 2 mana crystals to your inventory. One that contains gravity magic, and one that contains lightning magic. And
Sweet.
Kero, you and Zephyr make your way towards the central mountain, hoping to find a place to rest for the night, and then come the morrow, you will part ways with Sun Dragon and make your way to Tebadra, where you will help the Tebadra brothers fulfill their destinies. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
R.I.P. session.
Yeah.
Totally didn't forget to pull up the thing again. I totally don't forget to pull it up every single time.
What thing?
The outro.
Yeah, like
Also,
God, you've done it so many times. You think?
No, yeah, you'd think it would become second nature, and it never does. Also, Night What's-His. I'm glad you had fun.
No, I said you've done it so many times. I would think you'd have it memorized by now.
You have more confidence in my memory than I do.
We've done it
Yeah.
like 102 times.
Oh, but more than that, because we've done 2 campaigns and some one-shots.
Roughly the same.
Check out our website at officiald5hub.info. Resurrected from the grave like a filthy necromancer who bought some magic crystals. Check out our link in chat to join our official D5 Discord server if you want to hang out with us directly and support our episodes posted on Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Google Podcasts, and the iHeart Podcast Network, wherever you happen to get them from. For our audio listeners, catch us live on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time on twitch.tv/OddTornadoProductions, and check out Odd Tornado Productions Official on Tumblr to find links to our other works, including our Human Rogues Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Killer5. That is 5 with a PH, don't get it wrong. If you enjoy what we do, please support us on Patreon. That link's about to be posted as well. On Ko-fi at kofi.com/oddtornadoproductions. And follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/tornadoodd. The TNO are, in fact, capitalized. And if you want to see more of this party, plus or minus a few, tune in Mondays at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time for our Monday game, Under Locks and Keys, featuring a party of globetrotting treasure hunters trying to assemble the artifacts of the gods to unlock the divine doorway. Thanks everyone at home so much for watching. Thanks everyone at the table so much for playing. And we'll see you all next week.